Let's turn to the war in Gaza. It has led to something unprecedented among Palestinians: unity. And guess who's forged this unity? China. I know it sounds confusing, so let me explain. Palestinians control two pieces of land: Gaza, which is ruled by Hamas, and the West Bank, which is ruled by the Palestinian Authority, or PA. Now, the PA is controlled by a political party. It's called Fatah. This is the party of late Yasser Arafat. Fatah and Hamas have been rivals since the year 2007. That's when they fought a civil war in Gaza. Hamas calls for violence against Israel, but Fatah prefers politics. And their rivalry has weakened the Palestinian cause. But maybe not for long, because Hamas and Fatah have signed a unity deal. Both groups were in China for talks. They held discussions for 3 days, and at the end of it, they signed a deal.
We are signing an agreement for national unity to say that the way to continue this path is our national unity, and that's why we are adhering to our national unity. We call for it, and we won't let anything affect this national unity.
We have sought a lot to seek help in this world to stop this injustice against the Palestinian people to no avail. We've had decisions issued from all the international institutions, but we can't find a way to implement these decisions.
They're calling it the Beijing Declaration. It's been in the works for a while. China first hosted Hamas and Fatah in April. That meeting laid the groundwork for this deal. But what does it say? Mainly 4 things. Number 1, creating an interim unity government for Palestine. Number 2, creating a unified Palestinian leadership. Number 3, holding fresh elections. And number 4, a declaration of unity against Israel. Now, these are all big decisions. Hamas and Fatah are agreeing to share power to rule together. If this experiment succeeds, it could boost the Palestinian movement. But what's in it for China? For starters, image building. Beijing wants to position itself as a negotiator, as an agent of peace. We saw that last year as well. They brokered a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now they have united Fatah and Hamas. So clearly, China is improving its mediating chops. Secondly, it creates goodwill for China. Arab states have long tried to mediate between Hamas and Fatah, but none of them succeeded. So chances are they will welcome China's effort, because thanks to Beijing, the old rivalry seems to be over. And they're not done yet. China's foreign minister presided over the talks and the signing. Afterwards, he had a message. China is ready to push for peace in West Asia.
China is willing to strengthen communication and coordination with all relevant parties to jointly implement the Beijing Declaration reached today and to play a constructive role in maintaining peace and stability in the Middle East.
Could that be China's next target, a peace deal between Israel and Hamas? Well, that depends on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He is in the United States right now. He will meet Joe Biden later today. And tomorrow he will address the US Congress. Now, Biden did not invite Netanyahu. The Republican House Speaker invited him. In fact, Netanyahu and Biden have been growing apart. Biden wants him to take a ceasefire deal, but Netanyahu wants to push on with the war. The question is, will the campaign chaos in Washington affect any of this? Well, 2 things are possible. Biden doesn't have a campaign to run, so he can put more pressure on Netanyahu. No worries about Jewish voters. That's one possibility. But Biden's replacement is his vice president. So his actions will affect Kamala Harris too. And that may weaken his hand against Netanyahu. So which way will Joe Biden go? We'll know during the press conference later today. But Netanyahu did drop a hint in Washington. He said a hostage deal was near.
We are determined to bring them all back. The conditions to bring them back are ripening, for the simple reason that we are putting very, very strong pressure on Hamas, and we are seeing a certain change, and I think this change will grow, and we intend to do it. This is a war goal.
It's a contrast, isn't it? Netanyahu and Biden at odds. Meanwhile, China uniting Fatah and Hamas. It's definitely a diplomatic coup for Beijing. But one big worry still remains. Will this unity deal survive? Here's why we ask. You see, Fatah and Hamas are fundamentally opposites. Plus, there is a lot of global opposition to Hamas. They, after all, carried out the October 7th attack. They slaughtered innocent Israeli citizens. So anyone who comes close to Hamas will feel the heat. Does Fatah really want to risk that? Also, what happens when Hamas launches another attack? Will Fatah stand by and condone it? Or will they distance themselves? These are all concerns around this unity deal. As for the US, all is not lost. A Hamas-Israel peace deal remains the holy grail. Whoever seals that will get the bragging rights.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital.